Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we head to Garden City and talk soy biodiesel with Ryan Klas with Victory Renewables. That's part of Conostoga Fuel Services. A few days ago, they held an open house to show their blender pump and how soy-based biodiesel is continuing to be accepted in Kansas. Also on the program, we'll have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, Kansas Farm Bureau, as well as our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and Paragon Ag Advisors. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leading in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online, kswheat.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future of Kansas corn. Online, kscorn.com. In agricultural news from agview.net, USDA issued its June 1st acreage report. And in Kansas, producers planted 5.9 million acres of corn for all purposes. That according to the National Ag Statistics Service, up 8% from last year. Of those acres, 95% planted with biotechnology varieties. The area of corn to be harvested for grain, estimated 5.53 million acres, up 11% from a year ago. Soybean planted acres, estimated 4.7 million acres, down 1% from last year, and of these, 95% were planted with genetically modified herbicide-resistant seed, same amount as last year. Producers expected to harvest some 4.65 million acres of soybeans, down 1% from a year ago. Sorghum planting for all purposes estimated 2.65 million acres, down 5% from the previous year. Area to be harvested for grain estimated 2.45 million acres, down 8% from last year. Oil sunflowers planted is estimated at 60,000 acres, up 40% from last year. Harvested, estimated at 56,000 acres. It's up 37% from a year ago. Non-oil sunflowers or confections, planted area estimated 15,000 acres, up 50% from 2018. Harvested area estimated 14,000 acres, up 16.5% from the previous year. A lot of oats this year. Oats planted for all purposes, 135,000 acres, up 13% from last year. Area to be harvested, for grain that is, 25,000 acres, 39% higher than last year. Barley, 15,000 acres planted in Kansas, down 12% from last year. Harvest for grain, estimated at 9,000 acres. That's up 50% though from a year ago. Alfalfa acreage to be harvested for dry hay, estimated 560,000 acres, down 8% from last year. Other hay acreage to be cut for dry hay estimated at 1.7 million acres, down about 3% from a year ago. Well, cotton acreage planted estimated to be another record high in Kansas, 185,000 acres, up 12% from last year. Winter wheat planted in the fall of 2018 totaled 7.1 million acres. That was 8% lower than the previous year. Harvest, it's going on, and the area expected is about 6.6 million acres, down 10% from last year to be harvested. Other numbers, canola acres, 29,000, down 38% from last year. The area to be harvested estimated at 25,000 acres, and the estimates of planted and harvested acres of the release from USDA based primarily on surveys that were conducted during the first 2 weeks of June. Now, USDA announced after that report they're going to conduct another survey in some parts of Kansas and others that were delayed planting, and if any changes need to be made, they'll be announced, and the next report will be at the end of this month. And the Kansas Department of Agriculture's Agriculture Advocacy, Marketing and Outreach Team seeking Kansans to serve on the Marketing Advisory Board. The mission of the KDA Marketing Division is to serve all Kansans through innovation, their programming, and deliver solutions designed to create an environment that facilitates growth and expansion in agriculture while increasing pride and awareness in the state's largest industry, that being agriculture. The Marketing Advisory Board will advise the program team on a variety of topics through these sub-programs: agriculture business development, international agriculture development or trade, from the land of Kansas, local foods and affiliated programs, agriculture workforce development, and agricultural education. If that's piqued your interest, if you'd like a little more information about the board and also about the application process, you can go online, agriculture.ks.gov/marketing-advisory-board. Those applications due by August 1st of this year. The first organized board meeting for the new fiscal year scheduled for September 12th. That's a Thursday at the State Fair in Hutchinson. Buy more ag news online, agview.net. Stay with us. More coming up. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web, oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. More at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And welcome back. We're in Garden City talking now with Ryan Klas, who is with Conostoga Fuel Services and Victory Renewables. And Ryan, we're here because Conostoga Energy, a company that many folks are familiar with, you continue to expand about renewables. So tell us about the new project you have here.
So we are having our grand opening on our new biodiesel transloading facility that's located here at our ethanol plant in Garden City, Kansas. You know, we've just started looking for different avenues in the renewable surfaces, and we came up with biodiesel.
Now, biodiesel has been around for a while. Of course, soy-based biodiesel in Kansas continues to have more and more soybeans, but you're located here in southwest Kansas. Is there maybe a bit of a misnomer that that maybe soy-based products won't work out here?
Well, you know, there's a lot of soybeans grown in southwest Kansas. There's a lot of, biodiesel is really new. It's a new product that a lot of people in this area are not familiar with. We've talked to people, and you know, some people have tried it and some people never even thought about trying it, but it's a new thing for the bio world, that biodiesel is going to be a good thing for diesel vehicles.
Let's talk about the company's overall picture. Started out over a decade ago now with ethanol, looking at renewables, and that has continued to take off. And so maybe talk about how this fits into the overall picture.
So, like you said, we're a renewable company. You know, farming is in a lot of all of our background out here, and we've had really good success with our ethanol plants, and we wanted to be diversified and see what other projects are out there. And we bought a company a couple years ago. We merged with a company called Vic Energy. They had the same concept of renewables. They have a lot of good trade background, so they have been doing transloading biodiesel all around the countryside. So became a good fit, and biodiesel in southwest Kansas made sense.
So a biodiesel transloading facility, in layman's terms, what does that mean?
So what we bring in via truck or via rail into our fuel tank storage units. People can come in and buy blended product. They can buy a B5 product, a B20, not just farming community, but also the retail aspect of it. So if customers want to start seeing a lot more biodiesel fuels, we can help them out, customize their blends for them, and work together to benefit the environment as well.
It's Ryan Klas, who is with Conostoga Fuel Services and Victory Renewables on their new biodiesel transloading facility in Garden City. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. And AgView.net, covering news and views in the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt. Reliable and relevant, AgView.net. And we're joined by Ryan Klas, who is with Conostoga Fuel Services and Victory Renewables in Garden City. And recently they had an open house for their biodiesel transloading facility. Ryan, let's talk maybe a little bit more about soy-based biodiesel, and maybe just in layman's terms. A lot of times we talk kind of at a high level of, hey, we grow it, we need to use it. But there are a number of benefits, isn't there, to using soy-based biodiesel?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the benefits, it's a renewable product. A lot of people like to buy renewable. Like you said, we grow it, we can use it. It's something that we're not taking out of the ground. We can grow it every year and be successful with. And there's economical benefits to running biodiesel. There's times where biodiesel is very incentive oriented to drive the factor to, hey, let's blend more biodiesel, and it only helps your equipment run better.
Well, I know there's been a lot of discussion over the years, and there continues to be really opportunities to blend it. It's not necessarily one size fits all, and the situation maybe in southwest Kansas is different, say, than in Minnesota or some of those cold weather states, and so this gives a lot of the flexibility. So as you get the product in, a jobber calls in and says, I want with a certain blend, you can do that very quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have the equipment that we can customize your blends. If you're somebody that wants to try biodiesel and just wants to see how it goes, we could blend you a 5%. If somebody that's really loves biodiesel, has been using it for a long time, we can do up to a B20. The winter months are going to dictate a lot about your blends. In the winter, you don't want to be on a B20. You want to be maybe a little lower. We can help people get those right customization blends for them as the weather makes it.
So as you get started here, though, we'll be able to see, will there be some labeling? I would guess maybe some partnership with the the Kansas Soybean Commission to maybe help educate folks?
Yes, yeah, we're going to work with the Kansas Soybean Association to educate people, get more retailers possibly on board of higher blends of biodiesel, making the labels for the tanks, and the dispensers. But yeah, I think the Kansas Soybean is going to be a good group to work with, and we're going to be able to help each other on the same common goal.
Well, we look forward to continuing to hear more of the success of as the company continues to grow in southwest Kansas, the jobs it brings, but also the commitment back to renewable sources of energy, and especially using those home grown on the farm products. So again, best of luck.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Ryan Klas with the Conostoga Fuel Services as well as Victory Renewables. We've been talking about their biodiesel transloading facility located in Garden City. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up. Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
My name's Karen Cope, and I have multiple sclerosis. I heard about the stem cell research with the Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Before we decided to do that, I had cognitive testing done. After the stem cells, I had the cognitive testing completed again, and the results indicated that I had a 6-point increase in my cognitive abilities. It was like somebody had taken Windex and washed all the fog off my brain, and so I had the concrete, validated information that stem cells work.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Thielen with the Kansas Corn Commission. I'm here with your Kansas Corn Update this morning. I'd like to talk a little bit about our Reaching for Excellence Award that we received from the National Corn Growers Association in Orlando at Commodity Classic in February. This is a great honor because it recognizes our state for our Kansas Corn STEM program as being outstanding and actually reaching our true audience, which is teachers in the state of Kansas. And so what this means for Kansas corn and for Kansas corn producers is that we've been recognized for our efforts on focusing on education, which helps with the sustainability of this program. Hopefully, as you as a producer, you see now the value that we provide to Kansas education and are proud of what we are be able to provide back to your communities. And so a little bit of the statistics related to our program. Last year, during the school year, we reached 725 teachers. That's either providing them supplies or doing training for those teachers, and then that equated to about 20,500 students. As we look into this school year, we're already projected to double those numbers compared to last year, which shows the true impact that the program is having. As a Kansas producer, you should feel very proud of what's going on with your checkoff dollars as it relates to going into education, and take ownership of the excitement that we have related to this program and share it with your local teachers because you deserve the credit just as much as the Kansas Corn staff does related to the Reaching for Excellence Award.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source. AgView.net.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
A group of representatives from food companies and flour mills around sub-Saharan Africa was in Kansas to meet with wheat producers, discuss the current quality aspects of U.S. wheat, and to learn about new wheat varieties. The trade team was organized by U.S. Wheat Associates, the industry's market development organization, and while in the state, they were guests of the Kansas Wheat Commission. While the trade team was stateside, they were able to meet with various grain traders and grain export companies and hear updates on the global grain trade, global supply and demand, and estimates on price movements. Highlights from their time in Kansas include meeting with Schooler Grain and Skyland Grain, receiving a crop quality update, and a tour of the Center for Grain and Animal Health Research in Manhattan. The team members also visited the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center, learned more about Kansas wheat production, toured the state-of-the-art facility, and met with our neighbor across the parking lot, the IGP Institute. Team members included representatives from Seaboard, Honeywell Flour Mills, Dufil Flour Mills of Nigeria, and RCL Foods in South Africa. The companies represented on the trade team mark some of the largest wheat producers in the region. Prior to coming to Kansas, the team members also traveled to Washington, D.C. and North Dakota. They met with USDA to discuss export guarantee financing and FDIS inspection procedures, toured Mental Milling and Uptown Bakers, toured Northern Crops Institute and the North Dakota State University Wheat Quality Labs and the wheat breeding programs, toured a farm, and visited a grain elevator and commodity trading room.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Farm Bureau is celebrating 100 years by going on tour across Kansas, and we want our members to join in. On Monday, July 29th, we will tour Juniper Hills Farms, a first-generation farm with more than 150 acres of USDA-certified organic land, along with 400 acres of conventional farmland in Douglas County. Then we will have lunch at Dale Banks Angus Ranch, a fifth-generation ranch in Greenwood County. After lunch, we will head to learn about an innovative Ag in the Classroom program at Bluestem Elementary in Butler County, followed by an evening meal at Eberly Farms in Sedgwick County. On Tuesday, July 30th, our day will start with a tour of Cargill's new protein headquarters in Wichita. Members can tour the Stafford County Flour Mill and Water Tech Farm in Pawnee County. Finally, on Wednesday, July 31st, we will head west to tour New Life, a sorghum processing facility in Scott County, then make our way north to see research in action at the K-State Northwest Kansas Research Center in Colby. We will end our tour with an evening meal at the Prairie Museum in Thomas County. Space is limited and members are responsible for their own transportation. Meals are $10. To register, visit www.kfb.org.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source. agview.net.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Farmers and ranchers with cover crops on acres they were unable to plant due to excess rainfall will be permitted to hay, graze, or chop those fields beginning September 1st. The USDA Risk Management Agency announced last week it has adjusted the 2019 haying and grazing date from November 1st to September 1st to help those who were prevented from planting feed crops. USDA Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation, Bill Northey, said the change will be good for land stewardship while providing quality forage for livestock this fall. RMA has determined silage, haylage, and baleage will be treated the same as haying and grazing this year. Producers can hay, graze, or cut cover crops for silage, haylage, or baleage on prevented plant acres on or after September 1st and maintain eligibility for the full 2019 prevented planting indemnity. RMA Administrator Martin Barbary said this adjustment is for 2019 only. He said the agency will evaluate whether a permanent adjustment should be made for future crop years. NCBA worked closely with USDA and Congress to get the change approved. According to NCBA President Jennifer Houston, it provides much needed relief for farmers and ranchers dealing with an extremely difficult planting season.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Good morning. I'm Darren Van Vactor with Paragon Ag. The fireworks came a little early this year. We continue to reel from the USDA's planted acres report that showed 91 million acres for corn, a far cry from analysts' expectations, which were already wide at 81 to 88 with around an 86 million acre on average guess. The corn chart gave ground and back to previous contract highs and other technical support. As for the beans, they received a friendly acreage number coming in below expectations at around 80 million acres and reacted positively last week post-report. However, the bearishness surrounding the corn and wheat move kept a lid on things. Now the lack of forward momentum regarding trade talks with China at the Japan G20 summit seems to be applying additional pressure on the beans. Wheat continued to pull back initially following corn, but eventually taking the lead as it cannot buy a story of its own at the moment as exports remain slow and we break further into harvest. Although wheat may eventually develop its own story, it may take some time. We'll continue to heavily debate the acreage number, conditions, trend line yield for corn and beans, and wheat harvest. Keep in mind the USDA's next supply and demand report comes out on the 11th. If you have questions about these topics or the markets, give us a call here at Paragon Ag Advisors, 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Have a happy and safe 4th of July holiday weekend.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us online at KansasAgReport.net. Like us on Facebook, Kansas Ag Report Television Show. Follow us on Twitter at Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.